You are not really one organism. You're closer to an ecosystem. Right now, inside your body, there are roughly 100 trillion microbes, bacteria, fungi, viruses, and archaea, mostly tucked away in your gut. They outnumber your own human cells. Together, they weigh about as much as your brain. And you couldn't survive a single day without them. We tend to think of our bodies as closed, self-contained machines. They aren't. They're more like rented rooms in a building we share with trillions of invisible neighbors. And what those neighbors actually do is stranger than most people realize. For most of human history, we had no idea they existed. Then microscopes got better, gene sequencing got cheaper, and a strange picture started to emerge. Roughly 1 to 2 kilograms, about 3 to 4 pounds of microbes, live mostly in your large intestine. There are over 1,000 different species inside you, doing work your own cells simply can't. Most of them haven't been fully studied yet. We have better maps of the deep ocean and the surface of Mars than we do of what's living in our own intestines. The old textbook claim that bacteria outnumber human cells 10 to 1 turned out to be an overestimate. The current best guess is closer to 1 to 1, which still means roughly half of the cells you call yourself aren't technically you. We don't really live alone. We never have. Stranger still, your specific microbial mix is as unique as a fingerprint. The total genetic material your microbes carry is around 150 times larger than the genome you inherited from your parents. So in terms of pure genetic information, you are mostly microbe. Two people on the exact same diet share less than half of the same species. Identical twins, raised in the same house, eating the same meals, grow up to carry noticeably different microbiomes by adulthood. No two of us carry the same passengers. Once scientists started watching what those passengers actually do, the surprises kept coming. Cake digestion. Most of what we casually call digesting your food isn't technically you doing the digesting. Fiber, in particular, passes through the upper part of your digestive system completely unchanged. Your stomach can't break it down. Your small intestine can't absorb it. It only becomes useful once bacteria in your colon ferment it, releasing compounds called short-chain fatty acids. One of those compounds, butyrate, directly feeds the cells lining your intestine. Others travel through the bloodstream and quietly shape inflammation, appetite, even insulin response. Without your microbes, fiber would be useless to you. With them, the salad you ate yesterday is still doing things you can't measure. Then there's the immune system. Roughly 70% of it lives in your gut. The reason it doesn't attack the trillions of bacteria already inside you, but does attack invaders, is that your microbes constantly train it. It teaches it what's safe and what isn't. Children raised in environments that are too clean, without enough microbial exposure in early life, are now thought to have higher rates of allergies, asthma, and autoimmune conditions. This is sometimes called the hygiene hypothesis. The dirt, the dog, the older sibling, they were all doing something useful. But the real revelation came when scientists started looking at the connection between your gut and your brain. They're linked by something called the vagus nerve, a kind of biological cable running between them. Information travels in both directions, but most of the traffic actually goes from your gut up to your brain, not the other way around. Around 90% of the serotonin in your body, the chemical involved in mood, sleep, and emotion, is produced in the gut, not the head. Dopamine, GABA, and several other neurotransmitters are partly made there as well. Some scientists call the gut a second brain. It's not a metaphor. The gut has its own dense network of neurons, the enteric nervous system, with around 500 million of them, about the same number as in a cat's brain. And it gets stranger. People with depression, anxiety, and even some neurological conditions have measurably different microbiomes than healthy controls. In one now famous experiment, scientists transferred gut bacteria from anxious mice into calm mice, and the calm mice became anxious. The reverse worked too. Smaller human trials with certain probiotic strains have reported measurable shifts in stress and mood. The mechanism is still being worked out, but the idea that what's living in your colon can shape what's happening in your head is no longer fringe science, it's mainstream. And it quietly complicates the question of where you end and your bacteria begin. This partnership, though, turns out to be surprisingly fragile. A single course of broad-spectrum antibiotics can wipe out species of bacteria that may take months or, in some cases, never to fully recover. Stress, poor sleep, ultra-processed food, even a long-haul flight can shift the population. People who move from a traditional diet to a typical Western one watch their microbiome shift along with them within weeks. Diversity, more than any single species, seems to be the marker of a healthy gut. Ecosystems that lose diversity become unstable. The one inside you is no exception. The good news is that taking care of it doesn't require pills, supplements, or expensive products. The single biggest factor researchers point to is plant diversity. Studies suggest that people who eat 30 or more different types of plants in a week, counting herbs, spices, nuts, seeds, and grains, tend to have more diverse and more stable microbiomes than people who eat fewer. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and sauerkraut help since they directly add live cultures to the mix. Sleep matters, movement matters. Time outside around plants and animals matters. Antibiotics, when they aren't strictly necessary, hurt. Beyond that, your body mostly knows what it's doing, if you let it. The strangest thing about all of this is the question of what counts as you. You inherit your first microbes from your mother during birth. The rest is shaped slowly by the air you breathe, the food you eat, the people you live with, even the dog you pet. By the time you're an adult, the trillions of microbes inside you are a kind of living record of where you've been and what you've eaten. They are not, strictly speaking, you, but you couldn't be you without them. The body you call yours is, in fact, a partnership, and mostly a quiet one. If any of these caught you off guard, tell me which one in the comments. Hit like if you learned something new, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.